Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to be reviewing new shades for Peripera's Ink Airy Velvet Tint. There are 5 new shades that came out. It's a mixture of neutral, cool tone, and warm tone shades. So a little bit of a variety. It's been a while since they've came out with new shades for their Ink Airy Velvet Tint. I was wondering when Peripera was going to come with new shades. So it was very surprising, but very exciting because I really like this formula. When I first started YouTube, Ink Airy Velvet was one of the first lip tints that I reviewed, and I remember having a very strong first impression about this lip tint. It's one of my favorite formulas. So as part of the promotion, they also sent me their Easy Blending Lip Brush. I'm going to be trying that as well. For the packaging, it looks pretty much similar to previous packaging. You sort of have semi-transparent cap in the shade and the body. The only difference is that it has rose labeled on the back. The brush looks pretty much similar to previous shades as well. First off, we have shade 31 Mild Rose. This is a spring warm light shade. It's described as being a coral rosy color. As the name says, you sort of have this tangerine coral shade. It does look more orange. In the promotional pictures, it looks a little bit more mute. However, it is a little bit more bright in person. Overall, there's no rosiness to it yet, and it's going to look more like an orange shade. It does sort of have this tangerine orange color to it. Summer brightening, a very nice pop of color, especially for spring and summer. It gives a very beautiful, youthful vibe. As you know, for the formula, it's a matte finish. When you apply it first, it does have a semi-watery formula, but once it dries on your lips, it's going to have a semi-velvety matte finish. Very soft and airy on the lips. As long as you prep well, it's very moisturizing. It doesn't dry out my lips, and it looks so beautiful. Very easy to apply, very easy to blend. I used it with the Easy Blending Lip Brush. Very soft. It does blend the lip product pretty well. It fills in the wrinkles of your lips quite well to give you that very nice blurred-like effect. I love the matte finish of this as well. Very dreamy finish. One of my favorite matte finishes. Not a lip shade that I typically would wear, but this is definitely somewhere around my palette for my skin tone. For the full, now you can see a more pigmented orange color. It does have a slight coral undertone. Similar to the gradient look, it is going to look more like an orange shade. It gives a very nice pop of color. It's semi-brightening and semi-mute. This is really good for spring and summer if you want a little nice natural pop of color. Very beautiful and flattering shade. It's a lot more vibrant and more orange than the promotional pictures. The brush works really well to create a gradient look on the Cupid's bow, as well as blend it and just gives a very nice, seamless, even application. And also the formula is really good as well to blend, even if you just blend with your fingers or with your lips just for a quick retouch. It does have a slight sweet scent, so I would keep it in mind. However, when you're applying it or on the lips, you can't smell it. Let's go ahead with this stain test. So it did blot a little bit, but it has a really good stain on the lips. And you'll also see from the arm swatch as well. Very beautiful and pigmented stain. I think I probably prefer the gradient look of this better. This also looks really good as a base color as well. Here's a quick comparison swatch with 31 Mild Rose. Mild Rose is at the bottom, and then on top of that is Salty Peach from Roman. Very similar muteness and orange shade. Next up, we have 32 Reddish Rose. This is a spring warm shade. It's described as being a reddish rose color. In collaboration with the NCT, this is Jungwoo's pick. So I have a rosy pink color, very flattering for my skin tone. A very nice natural pop of color. Really good and flattering already for the gradients. Like, probably gonna be one of my favorites out of all these lip shades today. It's not too bright, it's semi-brightening. It's a very nice natural pop of color, similar to the previous one. Just looks so pretty and dreamy, like a rose petal on your lips. It looks quite similar to the promotional pictures. We're gonna have to see for the full look. And again, a beautiful finish. It's a very beautiful blur-like effect. Again, very beautiful rosy pink color for the full look. It is going to look more red the more layers you apply, with pink undertones. Very flattering. It's not too overwhelming, however, for a red shade. So if you do like more of a subtle red, I definitely do recommend this. This will look really good to use on your cheeks as well to give you that nice rosy flush. It's a similar shade to 32 Reddish Rose. I have Reddish Rose at the bottom, and on top of that is Coral Lala. Reddish Rose is a little bit more rosy. However, they're really similar to each other in moodiness and shade. Next Next up, we have 33 Favorite Pink Rose. This is a neutral shade color, and it's described as being a pink rose shade. On the chart, it does seem to slightly lean a little bit more towards being a warm tone, but it actually looks, I don't know, it looks a little bit more cool tone. They do pair it with a cool tone shade. Compared to the promotional pictures, it definitely looks a lot different. It does have more of a violet purple undertone. So I thought this was cool tone, but it's actually neutral, and I don't know, for some reason it does slightly lean a little bit more towards being a cool tone shade color because of the violet purple undertones. In the promotional pictures, it looks more like a mute blush pink color. I think I would like to see a color like that. However, on the lips, it does seem to be more of a violet pink purple shade. This probably is the brightest out of the previous shades. It has a nice brightening effect. It sort of has that brightness similar to Bare Vine and Bare Fig. So if you're into that kind of shade, I would recommend this color. So now for the full look, the more they apply, the more vibrant it's going to look. Now you can see more of a fuchsia pink color with violet purple undertones. Sort of have this Barbie pink type of color. Here are some comparisons for 33 Favorite Pink Rose. I have Favorite Pink Rose at the bottom, and then on top of that is Lululand and Custard Mauve. I think Custard Mauve probably looks more similar to Favorite Pink Rose because of the muteness, and Lululand can go a few shades brighter and darker as well. At the bottom here I have Bare Fig, and it does seem to have a little bit more purple in it, and there's less fuchsia in it. Next up, we have Plum Rose. This is shade 34. It's a summer light shade as well as a fall cool toned shade color. As the name says, it's described as being a rosy plum shade. It's a little bit similar to the previous one because it has a similar violet purple shade. However, this one is a little bit darker. It has more violet purple in it. So you sort of have this fuchsia violet purple shade. Very nice amount of vibrancy in this. It does seem to have a little bit of a red undertone under some certain lightings. So if you are into rosy shades and you're cool tone, I definitely would recommend this. I didn't think I was gonna like the full look of this, but I do prefer the full more than the gradients look. This is NCT Do-young's pick, and I can see why. It looks very, very flattering. Very beautiful rosy shade with purple undertones. Under some certain lightings, it's going to look rosy, but up close, it's going to look more like a violet fuchsia. Because of how bright and vibrant it is, it's going to look rosy under some certain lightings. Again, I'd say it looks quite similar to the promotional pictures. Last but not least, we have 35 Cherry Rose, and it's described as being a cherry rose color. It does lean a little bit more towards being a neutral shade and slightly cool toned. It does look a little bit semi-mute. It does have a little bit of a pink undertone, but overall it's going to look more like a rosy red color. I typically don't wear red shades, but this actually looks really flattering. For the full look, I can see more vibrant red shade. As the name says, it definitely does look like a cherry red color. Very beautiful red color. Just make sure you blend really well to have an even application. And again, it does have a little bit of like a pink undertone. There's no orange, no coral. It's sort of giving a Snow White or red type of color. So those were the new shades for Ink Airy Velvet Tint. I mentioned it early on already, but my favorite shade from this collection would probably be number 32 Reddish Rose. Such a beautiful and flattering Emerald Baby shade. I do have it on my lips right now. 34 was also impressive for a cool tone rosy shade. It was not what I expected, and it turned out a lot better than I thought. For 31 and 33 Mild Rose and Favorite Pink Rose, I think I would have liked it to look more like the promotional pictures. A little bit unfortunate, but these are really good to use as base colors. Overall, these shades were actually not too bright or vibrant. Shade 34 Plum Rose is probably the brightest and vibrant, but other than that, they all have a very natural and brightening effect. This formula is also really good to use as a blush as well, so definitely check these out if you're interested. Although some of these shades are similar to other collections from other brands, sometimes I do prefer a similar shade but in different formula because it just looks different and gives a different vibe and finish. And for this finish, it looks amazing. Very seamless, very beautiful blurred light cloudy pout. So that pretty much wraps up this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.